So, hello and welcome to today's webinar, Freshening Up Your Digital Marketing. It's presented by Beyond Indigo Pets and MWI. We'll begin in just a moment, but before we do, I want to call everyone's attention to the Q&A section here on the Zoom webinar display. Now, you can use this section to ask any questions you may have about the topic during the session, and at the end of the presentation, we're going to make sure that we tackle each and every single one of those questions. At this time, I'd like to introduce you to today's speaker, Elyse Phillips, who is the Director of Client Services for Beyond Indigo Pets. Take it away, Elyse.
Hello. Thanks, Will. As Will said, I am the Director of Client Services here at Beyond Indigo Pets. My name is Elyse Phillips. And what I do in my role is I really am making sure that our customers are getting the best websites for their digital marketing, and that those websites integrate with all of the rest of their digital marketing, and that those continue to be supported. So the topic that we're covering today is something that I love to talk about. So please ask me questions if you have them. Afterwards, I'll give you some contact information if you have additional questions. So I'm really going to just be talking through using some websites as examples and giving you some pointers on what you can do to, as Will said, freshen up your digital marketing. I think of it kind of as a, right now, that kind of spring cleaning idea that, doing that with your marketing and your website as the kind of hub of that. So I guess to get started, I want you to consider some things about your practice. And the questions that I want you to ask yourself are, first, the reason that we are all here, of course, is to get tails through your door. So are you getting enough tails through your door right now? Do you need more, or do you want to stay steady where you are? Are those the right kinds of customers? Where do you make most of your money? Who is your target demographic? Are you getting customers that are your target demographic, or do you need to change that? What would you like to be known for? What makes you special? And then, does your marketing convey all of those things? So we're going to start using here the whole pet vet as an example. And I'll be switching around between websites just to give you some visuals so you're not just listening to me drone on, but also so we can look at how these integrate into your websites. So my advice on how to actually do this, how to make sure that your digital marketing is working for you and what needs to be freshened up, is to first really just grab your laptop and sit down with a cup of coffee in a comfortable chair and use your website. Use it as one of your customers would. So think about scenarios that your customers might have. They need wellness care for a new pet. They need a new veterinarian for a senior pet. They want a second opinion on something. They believe that there may be a condition that they're seeing a dental concern, and they're looking for a vet for that. Are they able to find the information that they would need for whatever that scenario is quickly and easily on your website? Because if they can't find it quickly, they're going to go elsewhere. So really working through those scenarios that you think are ones that are coming in as from your target demographic, from the types of pets you want to see, is a good starting spot. And then really just reading your website, reading the content, looking at the photos, and trying, although I know it's hard, trying to do that from an outside perspective. Rather than somebody who knows already about your practice. And, talking to other people in the practice, asking them to do the same thing so you can really collaborate on that, I think is really helpful. So I think let's start talking about what needs to go. Like, what is on your website that gets outdated and you don't really need to keep on it. The first thing to look at there are announcements that you would not want in the archive. So maybe there is something about your hospital being closed on a certain date. That certainly isn't something that you would need or want to remain on your website. Those sorts of announcements get buried in your timeline on Facebook, so that's fine to have them out there on social media. But on your website, those you'd want to remove. Something like a food recall, there's probably a time limit on that. So think about what that would be for you. What would that time limit be? Past events that you participated in, probably something that you did that would look great for the hospital, like you participated in the Walk for Animals. That's wonderful to leave in the archive. But something that's more like a class that you taught or an event coming up like that, you might want to remove. Make sure that those items are in your blog. So that's why I have the whole Pet Vet blog here. I'm talking about them sort of with regard to your events or your announcements area on your website. But for things you want to keep, putting them in your blog is really your best option for that. So we'll talk a little bit in a few minutes about what we're adding to your website, but keep in mind that having things categorized in your blog is a really great way to keep an archive of items that you like. So what else needs to go, or what else needs to be considered? Think about, since the last time you reviewed your website, which going forward is only going to be about every 6 months or a year, but it might be 5 years since you looked at it at this point. So what has changed for you, and did anyone leave? Think the low-hanging fruit on that, of course, is your staff. Did anyone in the staff leave? Certainly they need to be removed from the staff page. But I think it goes beyond that, and really using that as sort of your checklist and looking at that veterinarian or that staff member and what did they bring to the practice that may have changed. So did you have a veterinarian who saw exotics and you no longer have a vet there who sees exotics? You need to look through your content, read through your website, look at your navigation to see if you have that listed and remove those references to exotics. Your website company should be able to what we call hide those items. So hopefully when you hire the next veterinarian who also has experience with exotics, you can just have that information magically reappear instead of having to start from scratch and rewrite it all again. So with all of these things I'm saying, a lot of them, I think, just having them hidden or removed from the website without actually being deleted entirely from the database is your best move. While it is a good idea, again, let's use oncology as an example. So if you had a vet who specialized in cancer treatment, and that veterinarian is no longer with you, and you can provide referral services to somewhere else that might have oncology services, I think it's still important that you keep the educational information on your website about that. So you, instead of saying you can provide all of those services, you may keep this oncology page and you can talk about what it is that is done, how you identify cancer, what some symptoms might be, what happens, what possible treatments are, whatever it is you want to convey on your website, without actually saying that you do that. And you can add a sentence that said appropriate referrals will be made or something like that. So when you have especially existing customers in this case, people who are coming to you, who trust you and need that information, they can still find it there instead of it just not being present anywhere on the website. One of my pet peeves with websites is things like coupons and promotions that are out of date. So there is just, in my opinion, nothing that makes a website look dated faster than something like New Year's promotion and it's July. So make sure that you remove those or just reword them. You can change it to have the exact same, $10 off a new client visit as a summer promotion. But make sure that there's someone who is going to keep up on those and keep those keep them active if you're utilizing a promotion type tool on your website, and that they're pertinent to the time. So switching gears from kind of what do you need to take off your website and thinking about what needs to be added. What can you do to freshen up your digital marketing by, now you've got it current at least. How do you bring it into the future? How do you really capture what your hospital, your practice is doing right now? Again, the low-hanging fruit is starting with that staff list. Of course, adding any new staff members who've come in. And I think that there's kind of a trick to that. When you have everybody write their own bio, they can be very different because everybody writes very differently. So if you have someone on staff who is a good writer, enjoys writing, I think having them collect some specific kind of information, maybe have a short form that you have new staff members fill out, and having them written by someone who can write them in the same tone is really helpful, because it can feel very disjointed if you have very dissimilar bios. The same thing with photos. It does not have to be, these you can see are professional images. They don't have to be professional images. But if you have everyone with a pet standing in the hospital because you did all the older, more senior staff on one day in the hospital, and then you get the new person and they bring in a snapshot from a wedding they were in, which I have seen, that's going to feel really out of place. So just having a similar image is really helpful with that. Again, with the who is in your practice, it's thinking about what do they bring to it. Do they have a special interest in massage? Do they are they fear-free certified? How does that bring something new to your practice? Not just how does that fit into their bio, but where can that be added on the website so that you can say, we provide these services. We have staff who are able to, whatever that is. Thinking then when you're going through kind of your checklist here of your existing staff, again, if it's been a long time since you've looked at your website, that's going to be a more time-consuming process. But think about, what have they done over that period of time? Do you have a vet who got Pen Hip certified? Do you have someone who got their vet tech certification, or a license? Are those things that need to be added and updated? Do you have a visiting specialist who's coming in who can do acupuncture? So again, remembering to not just put that in staff information, but really to put that in pertinent places on your website. And then thinking about equipment also. I think it's a good way to kind of spur your thought process with how does that change the facility as a whole. Can you offer laser therapy now? Is that something that's new? Did you get that equipment? Do you have a new ultrasound? Did you remodel that? And how does that change your practice? How does that change what you're able to do? Do you now have a cat-only room? Those are things that need to be reflected on your website. I'm going back to my promos soapbox, talking about adding promos to your website. I want you to think about piggybacking on promos. So are there, I know that there's a flea and tick preventative that I think it's you buy 3 and you get 1 free, or you buy, I'm sure you all are banging your desk because you know exactly what it is. Like, or buy 2 and get 1 free. But you don't have to offer that as your promo at your hospital. You're honoring that promo, and you can piggyback on that. And even if they could get that at any vet in town, that's still something that you can promote. So if somebody, one of the pet food companies is offering a free sample with it, you advertise that. Advertise it on your website and advertise it on your social media. Anything that you're putting on your website can be promoted through social media. So always remember that. If you've added a new staff bio because you've got a new vet tech, then you can put that on Facebook and you can drive the people from Facebook over to your website. And then there's the chain that happens where those visits are increasing the people to your website. Google is looking at that and seeing how valuable your website is, and you're rising up the ranks. So all of these things really are tying back to you getting found, your website getting found, and people coming through the door. And then I think there is just, what do people want to know about you that you can promote either on your website or on your website and in social marketing? Did you get a new clinic cat? I think people love to hear that. So put the cat on the staff page, then put it on Facebook and drive people to the staff page so they're visiting your website and they see everything else that you have. That's really important. Then just the information that seems like it would be kind of first line to be changed, but sometimes gets missed. Make sure that your hours are correct on your website. Are there classes that you're offering on a regular basis? Are those listed on your website? Did you get accredited? So you can see here, West Side is promoting the fact that they are fear-free certified, that they have an AHA accreditation. That also goes to the removing things from your website. If perhaps you decided not to continue with your AHA accreditation, that you remove that from your website. But these, again, great things to promote on your social marketing. Have it on your website so visitors there see it. Put it on your website. You can see right here in this Facebook feed for Westside that they have their fear-free certified badge right there on their Facebook post. You click this and it's going to bring you right over to the website. If you were on Facebook directly, obviously, the feed is already here. But I think that is, remembering that it's all an ecosystem, and it all really needs to work together. And with social media, looking at what have you added, what are you not using anymore? Twitter was, I can remember about 5 or 6 years ago, it was our standard. We told everyone, you are going to have Facebook and you're going to have Twitter. You have to have those. And many people are not using Twitter as much anymore. So if you go look at your Twitter and you have not tweeted in a year, there's no reason to have that on your website and be driving people to a place that's not current. So go ahead and remove that and decide if that's a platform that you want to continue with. And if it's not, then delete that account. Instagram has been one that has really been increasing in use lately. And so adding Instagram, you can see here on Clear Creek Animal Hospital, They utilize Facebook and Instagram. So get that added. The ones that you are actively using, make sure that that's reflected on your website, and they will drive traffic back and forth. So then what? You've taken the old stuff off, you've added the new stuff in. What is it that, that you do? Think about your philosophy. The same thing as, when you were thinking about what does new equipment, what do new people bring? What does the new philosophy bring? Do you have new leadership or a new owner? How does that change you? When I first mentioned that you should read the website, I do think that, once or twice a year, it's important that you really read the content that's there, and be careful with using things like, Dr. Dearman has been here for 6 years, because that's going to get outdated really quickly. So you can see here, using years is much more, it means that it's going to have to be updated much less often. So that'll just be easier on you. And you can make those changes once. And then that will, of course, serve you well going forward. Think about, when you're reading through your recommendations, that if you have, for example, on your wellness care, maybe you have changed what your recommendations are for exams for senior pets. Think about what that is and where you can reflect that on the website. Maybe your vaccination protocol has changed slightly. Maybe you have new wellness plans. Make sure that those are on the website, because people are searching for terms like wellness plans, because they are becoming more well-known. And I think for something that is less service-oriented, like who are you, like the About Us page, these are very frequently visited. When you utilize, you can use Google Analytics to see where people are coming from, what pages they're visiting on your website, and how long they stay, and it's fascinating. So if you don't have direct access, ask your marketing company to show you that, or to give you access. But we find that About Us and staff pages are visited very often because people want to know who, not just what are you going to be doing. And so having that information here, what is it important for you to convey? On West Side, for example, it's very important for them to let their potential customers know that their phones are answered by technicians, so that you get immediate support regarding questions about your animal companion. So that's something that's fundamental to how they practice. So they have made sure that is on their About Us page. And that's a really good example of how to do that. And I would say the sort of baseline is if a stranger walked up to you and said, "Tell me about your practice," what you would say. And that's what should be in this kind of get to know you section on your website and on your social media in those About Us areas. Then checking kind of the mechanics. Mechanics of a website is now all phone numbers should be click to call if you're on a device that allows that. I'm on a Mac. I have FaceTime enabled, so that would allow me to click to call this. Every instance of your phone number on the website should be click to call. I'm sure that you all have experienced visiting a website and you find the phone number and you can't click it, and you're in the car and you're on your phone and you have to try to figure out how to memorize it or write it down. And that's really frustrating. So this example I'm showing you right now is in the header, but make sure that it's everywhere on the website that way. And also make sure that your address is always click to map. So that should open up. This is the Google My Business or Google Map here. It's great when you're on a desktop, but gosh, when you're on a phone, it's just vital to be able to get directions this way. And this is also where your reviews live. So just watching all of that, I'd say on a weekly basis, this is one of the things you need to be paying attention to. And there are programs that allow you to be notified if you're getting new reviews or things like that, so that you can stay notified. So photos is kind of one of the other things that I think when you see your hospital all the time, it's easy to, you have those changes sort of incrementally. So it's easy to forget about that. But if you painted, you want people to see on your website what they're seeing when they walk in. So take some new photos. Again, the new equipment, get a picture of a cute puppy in goggles is like, puppies in goggles is like the cutest thing ever. So take those pictures. If you have, this is probably not that exotic, but maybe if you see sugar gliders occasionally, and but not very often. So a sugar glider comes in, take a picture, ask first, but take a picture of that so that you can put that on your website, on that exotics page. Or if your customer is willing to do that, most people like to brag about their pets, put it on your social media, because other people are going to see that, and they will see their unique pet, and that will drive traffic to you. And those opportunities are easily missed. You can probably get, you can get pictures of dogs and cats in most practices multiple times a day, but maybe there are some exotics that you do see, but that you don't see on a particularly regular basis. So I encourage you to take photos when they are there. And to do that, just keep a camera around all the time. And we're really fortunate now that phones have great cameras. So we are able to take those pictures on the fly and take good pictures. It doesn't have to be a professional photographer or a really fancy camera. For most, within a page kind of on a website, these header photos need to be, a real high resolution. But, an iPhone can get you pictures on your most pages of your website that really fit just fine, and will have just a good resolution, just even with a phone. So the last one I want to talk about when you are looking to freshen up your digital marketing is forms. And with forms, we want to think about what are you actually going to use and what do you need in your hands before the client gets there. We used to have more of a philosophy of like, let's put every form on the website. And the reality is, it's kind of overwhelming, and you want a higher compliance rate, not more forms. PDFs that people are going to fill out and print out, fill out, and carry into you, they can fill out in the hospital. So I'm talking about forms that they can fill out online when they need an appointment and it's 2:00 in the morning and they have time to do that request when you're not open. And limiting the number of fields. What we have found, and I just read a really interesting article from Google about it the other day, that compliance abandonment rate goes way up and compliance rate goes way down when you have a lot of fields. Even if it's like, you don't have to fill this out, it's not a required field, when people see that, it's overwhelming and they think they won't have time. So you can see here on West Side, contact information. How do you prefer to get contacted? What kind of patient? What kind of pet? And then requesting the appointment. That's really what you need to get that appointment made. New client form, same thing. You could ask 100 questions about the pet, but really with a new client, you need contact information. You need to, this client is asking, do you want email or text? They have a photo consent because they use a lot of original photographs and use them on their social marketing accounts. It's a great thing to add if you want to do that. And then here's the patient. Patients are just name, species, breed, color, gender, date of birth, or age. So really simple. And then if you need more information, you can have a supplemental form in your hospital, but the ones that that you have people filling out online, you really want that, the compliance and follow through there is what's important. So make them really straightforward. That's really, I think all of that goes back to you want tails through the door. We want to help you do that. So thinking about your practice, thinking about who you are, and just trying to stay current and doing that once or twice a year, that sort of real extensive review will help it not be so overwhelming each time. If you want to get in touch with me, if you have more questions, because I could talk all day about this, you can reach us at Beyond Indigo Pets, and my contact is Elyse, Elyse, at beyondindigo.com. So I will stop my screen share right there and see if we have any questions.
Yeah, if you have any questions at all, now is the time. Put them in that Q&A section here in the window, and we'll make sure to answer them. And while people are getting that together, one thing that's sort of been a popular part of the social media culture and everything going on online right now is a very popular cleaning and tidying method, which I won't mention the name or the brand of, but that everyone is going through all of their cleaning and taking in the things that give them joy and getting rid of the things that aren't. And I think there's definitely some parallel with that and how you freshen up your digital marketing by cleaning down to the things that are most important and most crucial, and then cleaning out the things that are older or no longer add value to your business. I think there's a really interesting parallel between that's happening right now in popular culture and everything that you talked about here today.
I agree. Not that I have used that method in my house at all, but it is a good philosophy. Well, I don't see any questions, but I want to thank you all for your time. And if you think of anything in the, tomorrow when you're looking through your website, I'm going to put my email address in the chat. And you can certainly contact me directly, or you can contact us here, and we'd be happy to answer any questions you have. Thank you so much for letting me share with you today.
Absolutely. Elyse, thank you so much. Thank you to MWI, and thank you so much to every one of today's attendees. Have a great day.